see. You're watching the HiFi Critics, a grassroots group of concerned citizens committed to taking action. We challenge the conventional wisdom and entrenched interests to serve their constituents, not themselves. Inspired by the McLaughlin Group's sharpest minds and hardest talk, and the vinyl industry's analog beauty and timeless artwork, we present the HiFi Critics. Track number 1. President Trump fired the FBI director yesterday, claiming that he had no confidence in the FBI director's performance. In your felt intuition, will this firing increase or decrease the likelihood of a Trump impeachment? Charles.
I think it will not affect it any which way or form. You're assuming that he's going to get impeached. In order to get impeached, they have to find evidence that something bad occurred. And I just think this was just a case of bad timing. I don't think this...
But it's not a question of me assuming it. I'm just saying, what do you think? Do you think he's going to be impeached?
I don't think Donald Trump is going to get impeached. And I don't think this particular event added anything. It just adds a log to the fire that's Russia. Doesn't mean anything about impeachment.
Okay, interesting. Tom?
Yeah, I would have to disagree on my end. I believe wholeheartedly that Trump will get impeached.
Why?
I think that Trump is...
What evidence do you have?
That he'll get impeached?
Yeah. Why do you think he's going to get impeached? You must have some evidence.
Well, no. At this point, it's based solely on a gut reaction to his policies. And ultimately, I would say that based on what I've seen in the news, the various Trump-Russia connections and all the little webs that have come down from it, yeah, I think there's too much there to ignore. And I think Comey firing...
So you're basically saying he's going to get impeached after 2018. So you're basically right now saying that the Democrats are going to win 2018.
Absolutely.
How are the Republicans going to impeach him now? They're not.
They can't. No.
But what if they find more information, right?
If they find more information, I don't think Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan can stand up to it any longer. They're going to have to fall towards the country as opposed to towards the party.
But do you understand history?
I like to think I do, yeah.
You realize that Nixon got impeached. Why? Why did Nixon get impeached but Reagan didn't?
Well, Reagan was going to be impeached, or the process for impeachment was based on his ability to lead due to the fact that he was going through Alzheimer's or whatever the advanced stage,
Charlie, do you want to help him out?
So I think just...
What's the difference? There's a very key difference between Nixon, Reagan, and Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to drill into that.
Yeah, no, I think Nixon was going to be charged with a crime, obstruction of justice. Mm-hmm. And Clinton also the same thing, right? It's not the crime that you get caught, it's the cover-up that causes the issue. I think, you're basically saying that Trump is going to get impeached, that they're going to find some magical evidence out there, Russia or whatever, and I just don't see that happening. He's going to serve out his term. Impeachment is a very complicated process. And I just don't think the Republicans or the Democrats have the power and the will to impeach this guy.
What would it take, in your opinion, for Trump to get impeached? If you say he won't get impeached, that's fine. But what will it take for him to get impeached?
I mean, I think there has to be some definite, I would say at this point, with everything we know as of today, I would say there would have to be some treason. And that means, undermining the election. He knew his team was talking to Russia during the election, and he knew they were undermining Hillary Clinton and fake news and hacking attempts. I don't think the money trail is going to be enough for impeachment. It has to be a direct crime.
But I think you're missing two. There's two answers or two possible paths that this actually happens. You're right about yes, that has to have happened. But I want to go back to Reagan and Nixon.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
What year were you guys born? Do you not do your homework? Did you go to public school? What's the deal?
I was born in the late 80s and went to public school.
Well, there's your problem.
Yeah.
You were born too late. No, here's the deal. So Nixon was impeached, not only because there was evidence, first of all, but secondly, the chief counsel to the president ratted him out in front of Congress and said there are tapes there. That's how they found the evidence, right? That's how they found the hard evidence. With Reagan, by the way, the greatest president in Chris Hamill's lifetime, Reagan did not get thrown under the bus by Ollie North, right? There was never a direct connection to the president. He was always able to, just like Clinton, right? Clinton was kind of able to squeak by on the side. So ultimately, my point is, it's going to come down.
I disagree about Clinton. They had tapes of him lying in the deposition, and that's how they got the impeachment, because they went to impeachment trial. and they went to the vote, and then he just,
Yeah, but it was lying about sex.
But I think this is really
still,
interesting. So what we're
he
saying
got caught
is,
there.
based on this sort of correlation between Reagan and Nixon, we're saying that Trump is more like Nixon. Is that what we're trying to put out there?
No, what I'm helping you understand is what it's going to take for Trump to get impeached.
Okay.
Right? I actually think...
So you're saying a whistleblower.
There needs to be somebody that actually blows the whistle, that proves the evidence that he did something. Because we can speculate it all we want until they find some evidence and somebody comes out and says, yes, he did it. Somebody who was on the inside. He's safe.
There's no evidence.
He's completely safe. It's all speculation. Right?
And unless Flynn flips on him or somebody else, Roger Stone.
Exactly. And Flynn is probably the most likely person at this point, but that's only the people we know. There might be somebody behind the scenes.
Right.
So,
I think someone's going to flip. I believe that.
Okay. By what year and month?
I would say that unless the Republicans actually begin to put any pressure on the president, it won't happen until the House and the Senate flip. When Congress flips to the Democrats in 2018, and that will happen, that is when we'll probably see an actual flip from one of Trump's advisors or close people to him. That's what I think.
Why would it be when the House gets taken over by the Democrats?
Because of that, I believe right now there's enough backing in the Congress to allow Trump to feel confident, and also allow for these underlings that are involved with all of this to feel comfortable that they're not going to be taken in and suddenly put on trial. The Democrats get in there, and because of the last 2 years, that's really where I think they're going to start to feel the heat. Because finally they'll have to start answering for things where they don't have to answer now.
So your assumption is basically that not until the Democrats take control of the House do they then get the subpoena power and the investigative powers that the House has, that then they will be able to pick up where Comey left off?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's all a dream. He's not going to get impeached. He's going to serve his full term.
I actually will have to side with the Cuban here. And the correct answer to this question is that it doesn't increase or decrease the likelihood of impeachment. It's a wash. It's great for Washington and the liberal elites on the coasts, but here in the Midwest, it doesn't matter. It's a non-event. It's a non-event. Yeah, and even if Trump gets impeached, it doesn't really affect the Midwest. Trump's not creating jobs. He's not bringing coal back. He's not bringing sexy back to Wisconsin either, even though it's pretty sexy.
Maybe the EPA office will stay open.
It's hard to bring sexy back to some place that's already as sexy as Wisconsin.
Okay, closing question on this track 1. On a scale from 5 points better to 5 points worse, what impact on Trump's 2020 Wisconsin percentage will the firing have? And we're going to go to Mr. Milwaukee himself.
Thank you very much. As a Milwaukeean and a Wisconsinite, I believe that it is going to be 5 points lower with a bullet.
Down.
Yeah, someone's firing it immediately into the ground. That's it. Flat out. He can't recover. Paul Ryan...
Because of the firing, though. We're talking specifically about the firing.
For the firing, because I think what's going to happen in Wisconsin is people will not... They've already begun to not trust Paul Ryan, and Paul Ryan is such a sort of underling and backer of Trump that people are going to continue to see that all the way up the line. It's going to happen. 200,000 suppressed voters in Wisconsin. 200,000. Trump won by 22,000.
Did you vote in Wisconsin or Illinois?
I voted in both places.
Good answer.
I think 0. I think you're making the assumption that Donald Trump is going to run in 2020. I believe he's not going to be the Republican nominee for 2020. I believe Donald Trump's going to realize this is not fun. If he's even alive, he has to have a heart attack or something by then. But he's going to realize this is not fun. This is not what he wants. He's going to lose to Congress probably. And if he thinks the bickering and argument is bad now, in 2019 it's going to be worse. The pressure's going to get to him. He's going to be, hey guys, I need to go have fun. I did my best, and I'm moving on. He's going to fire himself.
But let me remind you that not 2 minutes ago you just said Trump will go through his entire
his
first
full term. Yeah.
And now you're talking about him being
not
completing his term.
No, he's going to complete his term.
Okay.
But I think he'll just sometime in say if he had to if back me here to a wall, I would say March 2019. He basically announces he's not running after he loses. The Democrats take over, and he realizes this is the dream is over. he announces, "Hey, I'm not running," and he puts himself behind Pence or somebody else that we don't know about right now.
What do you think the odds are, Charlie, of Mr. Trump citing health reasons in March of 2019?
He won't.
He's as healthy as a horse.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
That would be something. So for him to say, "Hey, I'm not healthy enough to do something," it's a meeting defeat. He's all about being great, tremendous, and having being a great businessman and beautiful deals. He'll just find some other excuse to get out. Like, hey, for the good of the country, I'm a patriot. I'm going to let somebody else run the country.
No way he'll say that. He's
No,
going to say,
absolutely
I
not.
won, I succeeded, America is great, I'm out of here.
Yeah, well,
I've done my job. I've checked off every box.
Yeah.
He can. Hey, just
He's going to get buried in Arlington.
he's going to be there. Yeah, he's going to have a full honor guard and everything.
Or Trump Tower.
Yeah,
One or
Yeah.
the other.
maybe Mar-a-Lago or something. Who knows?
Yeah, on the 18th.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the correct answer is 0.5 points based on Comey firing. I mean, it's,
So you're
it's
assuming.
basically
So you're
Are we
assuming
saying
his name
0.5
is.
up or 0.5 down?
down.
He's
down
going to be on the
0.5.
ballots. You're saying right now,
Yeah.
Donald Trump will be on the 2020 ballot.
Yeah, because you stole my prediction, which is that he was not even going to run for the second
Hey,
one, which is
so-
something I said weeks ago
Sorry.
on this very program.
Yeah, I'm just
All right.
answering the questions.
Yeah. Track number 2, Chicago bag tax. The data is in. Chicagoans are bringing bags to the stores in almost 50% of their trips, compared to less than 20% of trips before the bag tax started in February. Is the Chicago bag tax a success, Mr. Milwaukee?
I think it depends on what you mean by success, or more importantly, what is the metric for success for the city of Chicago? Are we talking making money on the bag tax and trying to reduce, or are we talking about reducing the bags in the city? If we're talking about reducing the bags in the city, then absolutely, it's a success. Garbage, trash.
So you've seen less bags out there. You're personally going around. Oh, I see less bags.
I feel like in my part of the city of Chicago, Logan Square, the greatest neighborhood in the city of Chicago, that there are far fewer bags now than there were before.
So you must be very aware of bags, huh?
I care about my community. I care about my community. I want trash. You know what? I want trash cans on every corner.
That is something we can all believe in.
I think the answer here says a moderate success. This is just more instead of solving the problem, letting the free market solve this problem. The government has come in and said, "Hey, you don't know how to think for yourself. Here's a 7-cent penalty to go to the store." I think what's the number? 50%.
50%.
Reduction. I think the question that I would ask the panel here is, so.
But you're not in this chair to ask
You
that
know,
question. But go
no,
ahead.
I would ask a question here. So, it's a successful. Now we have all these cloth bags and reusable bags out there, and those are going to end up in the trash, and they're going to sit there for years and eons, right? Everywhere you go, now you have, oh, here's some bags, sir. And
But Charlie, the metric comes from the fact that now every store has to charge people for the bags, so they can easily go into the database in the cloud and look at how many people actually needed to buy a bag. So,
but how is that success?
because by your definition, if everybody's taking their cloth bags and their hemp bags and they're just using them once and then throwing them in the street, they got to go out and buy more bags.
If even using them. Well, you're
The
assuming
economy would boom if that happened.
You're
It would boom. The GDP
No,
would be
wrong.
Trumpian.
Wrong.
It would be
because
making
you're
America great
assuming
again.
these bags just showed up last week or whenever this ordinance went in effect. People have been using these bags, these Logan Square hipsters, your granolas at Whole Foods. They've been using these bags for years. And now,
Yeah, but only up to 20% of the people, 20% of the trips. Now it's up to 50% in a matter of months.
no, I think it's great for the environment. Trust me, I love clean lakes. However, this is just giving 7 cents to the city. That the city's just pissing away somewhere, and all the problems.
What would you think the city spends on 7 cents?
Yeah.
What do
7
you think they're
cents.
buying with 7 cents?
Times whatever many bags they got.
Yeah, but we're 50% down. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
The number's
50
down.
Yeah, because before they weren't charging anything. So 50% of zero was zero. Now it's 50% of something.
Okay.
So before there was no bag tax. Now they're making, magically they're trying to plug a budget hole somewhere and saying, hey, let's just, what's next? Well, let's tax, let's tax soft drinks July 1st, right? So when does the taxing end?
Who sells tote bags? Let me ask you.
I mean, Whole Foods you can buy one there. Jewel, Mariano's you can buy a tote bag.
if you had an opportunity to buy a creatively,
So,
you know,
Before you
made-
said about buying bags, how about all the free ones I've gotten all the years before there was even a law? So I mean, I'm talking about. I'm not talking theory here. I'm talking personal experience. That
one man's personal experience.
well, every Joe Public over here. So, just say. But continue with your question.
I believe that not only is this going to help because we're going to reduce, reuse, and recycle in the city of Chicago, but we're also driving people into small businesses to buy those tote bags. Nobody wants something with Whole Foods
Yeah.
on it. Nobody wants something with Jewel on it. They want to go into Wolf Bait, right? They want to go into, Mom and Pop's home store.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I have no idea what wolf bait is, but I'm gonna disagree with you. Nobody's going out of their way to go. Oh, let me go get. I don't want a Gap bag. That's too corporate.
Not
for
true.
me.
Not true.
There's not a lot of people at Patagonia buying tote bags.
You want to talk about one man's personal,
I'm talking about right now.
right
Maybe
now?
you're buying personal tote bags.
I'm just saying, you're telling me that you've experienced it? Well, this is my experience.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Well, let me just say that I think this question is very relevant. It's definitely true that there are fewer bags flying around. I can tell because there's no garbage cans in the 43rd Ward of Chicago. And because there are no garbage cans, people throw their stuff all over the place when they come out of 7-Eleven at the corner of Armitage and Sheffield on the southeast side. So I can tell you, because I've been picking up trash on the street and on the sidewalk for a long time, that there are fewer bags per day that I have to pick up over the last 3 months than there were in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
That's real data, Charlie. That's in the database, in the cloud, somewhere.
Yeah.
You can't argue with those numbers. You
can
want
try.
to.
I don't know,
You can have your alternate facts.
I think the numbers. I just don't think the numbers mean anything, right? So bags.
So
are
what do you want?
Before-
What's the alternate option? You want basically the free market. You want people to take plastic bags. You want them to be produced, given away for free, thrown all over the place. Babies choking on them and dying.
Why do you think that there's
There will
a
be
severe
no
lack
Alaska.
of deer in Chicago?
Yeah. Where do you think
This
the
is a
deer
major
went?
city.
Where do you think the deer went?
Wisconsin.
No, I'm talking about Chicago. Deer used to thrive in this city before the
Yeah.
plastic
Maybe
bags.
back in the 1700s.
They
I
still
didn't say
thrive.
when.
Yeah.
They still
Say
thrive.
True story.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm gonna disagree with
So
this
what do you
one,
want?
guys.
Are you playing
I
the free
think-
market card
no,
right
I
now?
think.
What's the metric that's most important to you?
I mean, I think we're getting away from you guys are arguing. Hey, I love the environment more than anybody else.
Sounds very
I love-
Trumpian.
I love the environment. I think I care about the Great Lakes. I like clean water. I like clean air. However, I don't need the city of Chicago to tell me, hey, you forgot a bag. Now you need to pay 7 cents. That, for the record, the stores only get to keep like 2 or 3 cents, right? They're only getting their cost back of the bag, if that. The rest of the money, again, it's going right back to the city of Chicago. And right now, anything that feeds that machine is a problem for me.
So
It's
do you
just-
have an axe to grind with the city of Chicago
I
and the
think,
taxes that
you know,
you pay here? Can
yeah.
you maybe elaborate
No,
on
I mean,
that?
it just seems like the city perhaps should look at other ways to fix their budget problems. Maybe we'll go to this on a different show, but there's problems with the CPS, the school system, a lot of pensions out there, infrastructures in the city, the CTA, and the city right now is just like a vacuum cleaner looking for money in the cushions of the seats. Yeah, just
Okay.
going, oh well, here's 7 cents per bag. Let's get the suckers. And I think that's what I'm against here.
So
If they want to solve the problem of the environment, hey, you can make bags of other materials. They don't have to be plastic. They could be made with something biodegradable that ends up in the lake. The Asian carp won't choke or something. But you could. There's alternative.
If you like
things.
lakes as much as you say you did, you know that we don't. We want the Asian carp to choke.
Yeah. Well,
Because they're choking our lake
I'm
systems.
just saying. There's other
you
ways.
trapped yourself.
Oh,
You
no,
did
wait.
say you think you care about the lakes, which tells me that
I
you
love
don't.
the lakes. Nobody loves the lakes more than I do.
Well, we'll see. I enjoy the lakes
As
bigly.
a home brewer, I need clean water, Todd.
All right, let's wrap this up. Closing question: what will the percentage of trips be with a bag by the end of 2017?
If the number is 50% now, I think we've reached peak bag here. I don't think this number moves beyond that.
I would say that as I've seen, the quality of the bag that you get for free, or rather you pay for at the store, has gone down drastically. I would say 85%
So you think 85% of trips
are bringing their bags
will bring by the end of the year?
by the end of this year.
And you say
The
no
number's
change.
not going to change. 50%. If the number's 50% now, December 31st will be 50%.
The correct answer is 55.2%. And that's because people are rebelling against buying the bags today, but later, when it's convenient for them and they forgot about the poor Asian carp in the lake, and they don't really care about them, they're just going to end up paying the 7 cents because it doesn't matter. Track number 3, Record Store Day. Record Store Day turned 10 this month, or actually last month. If you landed on Earth for the first time on Record Store Day last month, did you attend Record Store Day?
I was traveling.
So that's a no.
No.
And I believe you did.
I attended.
What would your opinion be of the Record Store Day attendees? So let's start with you, Todd, since you weren't there, because you actually kind of represent somebody that just landed on Earth
Absolutely.
for the first time.
Especially coming from Wisconsin to Chicago.
Yeah. What's your opinion of those people?
I would say
How
that...
would you describe them?
I would say a lot of those people who are going to enjoy Record Store Day would be the type of people who have a basement with a lot of different radios. They have vinyl pretty much anywhere you could look, and they also like to tell you exactly where they bought the vinyl, how much it costs, and where all of the cracks are, the little pops and cracks in the vinyl. They like to talk to you about their vinyl a
Seem
lot.
passionate. That's the
No,
word
I
I'm
don't.
looking for.
I don't think it's passion. I think it's obsession.
So are you objecting to those people that have obsession over vinyl?
No, I'm pro obsession.
Oh, okay.
I'm absolutely pro obsession. I just think that that's their qualification. That's their characteristics.
So,
of those
but
people.
I think the question is, what do you think about those people? Not
Yeah,
what
what would
you
be your
basically
opinion?
described them. You described the line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
judge
apologize.
them, please.
Yeah.
Judge them.
Judge them. You know what? I think they're good people. I think that they're down home, heartland American people that really are looking to boost the economy by spending in small shops and buying and engaging with the history of America by buying older records. That's what I believe. I believe they're good people. I believe they care about the United States.
So what you kind of just described is Papa Bear Bill O'Reilly, right? Somebody that really cares, but cares about the past, doesn't really want to move into the future. Really is craving Americana from like the 1950s
Sure.
or 60s.
The
They're not
good-
really
the good old
They're not
decades.
forward thinkers. Yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
they're stuck in their ways.
Yeah, I would say that everyone who buys vinyl on Record Store Day is Bill O'Reilly.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm not
well,
sure.
but he
Yeah.
hasn't been to one ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever.
Okay, so
So-
perfect. So you are like an
You're
alien.
casting
Just
casting.
I'm casting a
net.
wide net. Absolutely.
Now let's go to Charlie, a record store super freak,
Yeah,
who has
A
very,
Bill O'Reilly.
well, no, that your definition of
yeah. Don't tell me who I am.
yeah.
I'll
Don't
tell you,
judge
yeah.
him for him. He'll let him judge him
I'm
for
saying
him.
until you prove me wrong.
Well, I don't think there's a right or wrong here. I think it's a member of different subcultures. I can tell you that the great people that I meet online at Sugar Records, Dave Records, Reckless, and Dusty Grooves,
We should talk to them about being sponsors of the
great
show.
people, great people. I think these are people that are passionate, right? They're thinking differently. They're not saying, hey, I don't want some flat MP3 that, it's been processed 50 times. I want something that's warm, tangible, that I can take home and really enjoy. Something that exists here, not out there in the cloud, where you can just, take somebody else's computer. You're basically taking it home, and this is yours. And I think what's great is, what these people are probably thinking, is that, hey, when I listen to that record, every single time I listen to it is different because it wears out. So they're having an experience. They're in the moment. So I think those people are passionate. I think they're true patriots of this country. Whether they thought this country was great or they're making it great again, that's not the issue to discuss here. But I think those people, we need more people in this country that stand in line for record stores.
So we agree they're patriots, though. We can both agree they're
Yeah.
patriots.
If you're out 50-degree weather buying records,
You're a patriot.
overpriced records, cash grab, you're probably a patriot. You're
Okay.
doing your part to make America, keep America great.
Well, I would judge them this way: that a lot of them are sort of your Logan Square hipster, your West. What is your neighborhood called?
Westtown, River West.
Westtown, River West hipster who maybe is even anti-hipster to a certain extent, but what really drives them is being different for the sake of being different. They like stuff that the mainstream media and the mainstream folks don't like. They're the types that wear an iWatch. They have a Mac, probably a beard, maybe some glasses. They ride a bike. That's what I view the people that I've met in line.
I would disagree with you.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just telling them the truth.
I would say
Can't
that it
handle the
might be,
truth.
again, to your point,
That's
a subculture
yeah.
of the groups that we're talking about. That might be a sub-bill around.
Let me ask you a question. Let me take this to another level. So, what percentage of the people that you meet in line at these record store day events would you want to become friends with?
Oh, that's,
and friends means like you're hanging out with them once a month.
Maybe listen to some records.
But yeah, you know, maybe it's kind of like the constitutional conservative that you're friends with, but you don't really like hanging out with them too much because you get into arguments and stuff.
No,
what percentage of the people you meet in line do you think you'd be
I
friends
think
with?
from my experience, I'm going to use this year as a great example. It's a great record store year, great releases. I would say, and I actually talked to a number of people and saw the same people in multiple stores. I would say a good 25% of those people, we could be friends and hang out, listen to music, or share links, share Discog profiles online. So I would say 25%.
Good answer. What about you, Todd? I know you haven't been to
I haven't
one.
been. I would, given your description of Logan Square bearded hipsters who ride bikes, I'd probably say a good 35%.
Yeah.
Just slightly more. Just slightly more than my friend over here.
Okay.
Sight unseen, you're going 35.
I'm going 35, and you know why?
You have goodness in your heart?
I have goodness in my heart, and I'm looking to help these people become great, and I think I can do that.
Well, that's saying something, isn't it?
yeah.
I'm going to go with like less than 5%.
Very judgmental.
I don't know if it's me or if it's them, but I don't really like those people that much.
Probably you.
It could be. I mean, I just think that they're very in their own world. They never get out. It's all about them. It's about.
But they're out that day, and many of the days. I mean,
that's the only day of the year they go
I
out.
think
Okay, you're right. There's 2 days a year they go out, which is our exit question.
If we had a friend here from Russia that's not here that loves live music equals success, I think he would say they go out to record store day. They go to concerts, concerts in the park.
Live music is different than records.
No,
but I'm just saying these people are passionate about their music.
I'm talking about the people that don't go to a lot of concerts because they got no job. All their money gets saved throughout the year and spent on overpriced Dave Matthews Band reprints.
I think you're just again casting a very negative light on a great group of people. They're trying to live a positive life out there.
I said
maybe
35%.
Maybe you should be friends with like 75% of them.
Yeah, you're pretty.
You know what?
You're pretty big on these people.
When I'm out there next year or the next event,
take a survey.
I'll make sure we hand out some business cards.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. Closing question: after Record Store Day and Black Friday Record Store Day, which you may not be aware of, but there's 2 of them. What is the next Record Store Day holiday cash grab? When will the Record Store Day industry people create the 3rd Record Store Day of the year so that they can do the cash grab?
I like that.
Now let's start with Charlie.
So I think they've already created this day. If you look at June 24th or somewhere around there, they have Cassette Store Day. So I think the lamestream media has already moved on and created the next cash grab day. Now they're getting cassettes. I could see something, maybe middle of summer, but it's hot. Who wants to go record shopping when the weather's nice out? But
that's the whole point. That's why they create those days to get people in the store.
They're Cassette Day in June. I could see something around mid-July, maybe Flag Day, maybe July 4th. But I would say somewhere around mid-July.
I'm thinking a little earlier in the year. I'm thinking maybe February, early February, maybe a Valentine's Day.
So like a halfway to Record Store Day?
Halfway to Record Store Day. It's their half birthday. And, you buy something for your sweetheart.
But if everything is special, then nothing's special. So creating more...
That is the problem with children today, and I think that we can get to another episode.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if every day is Record Store Day, then no day is Record Store Day.
But if every day is Record Store Day, then every day is Record Store Day.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there's nothing special about it.
Yeah, if you slap a name on something, it still has a name.
No, not a good name.
All right, I'm going to go with Labor Day to celebrate the workers.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys aren't much into math, but Record Store Day and Black Friday Record Store Day, there's 7 months between during the summer and only 5 in the winter. So that's why they'll split that in half and it falls on Labor Day.
I can see that.
Yeah. I do appreciate
it's the right answer.
I do appreciate you celebrating the working man.
Yeah, that's what I
and
do.
woman.
Yeah, I'm a man of the people. I love people.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Blue collar.
Yeah, well, hey, straight up. All right, so bonus track. Here to wrap up the show. On a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being no chance, like Bernie Sanders winning the presidency, or a 10, metaphysical certitude, like Jimmy Fallon being funny on Saturday Night Live, how likely is it that Rahm Emanuel runs for another term as Chicago's greatest mayor? Let's go with you, Todd, Mr. Milwaukee.
Oh, I'm going to have to lean towards Jimmy Fallon on this one. Absolutely. I'm going to say it's about a 7, maybe a 7.8.
That he runs again.
That he runs again.
Why?
I think that he hasn't seen the end of his success, and I don't think that there's been enough people out there.
You're assuming success ends, so there's an end to success, but...
Well, I think for all Chicago mayors, there is eventually an end to success. You can only do what you can do to these people of this city for so long before they get fed up.
Yeah.
I think Rahm's not there yet, and I think that there's enough people who live far enough outside of the city that to get to vote for the city that are going to vote for Rahm, because they don't see what's happening down here.
Okay, so we got a 7.8 over here.
I think the number is basically, if I had, I would say 1.5. I don't think Rahm Emanuel runs again. I think it's very difficult. I mean, it's at the day of this recording, May 10th, 200 murders, homicides in the city of Chicago. I think that's going to be a very difficult number to run. 756 in 2016. He has a match for the CPS school that he keeps kicking the can on how he's going to pay to keep the schools open. Eventually, he's just going to run out of excuses, and he's going to hit that can. Is going to land on him, and he won't have the political capital to run again.
That's why we're collecting 5 cents for each bag.
Yeah, so I guess maybe he's pocketing that 7 cents.
So your number was 1.5.
I would say 1.5.
We're in the War of Terror. Pick one.
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5.
All right, Charlie, you're right. It's very low. He's got the Laquan McDonald problem, the police problem, the murder problem. And the whole Chuy Garcia thing, where he basically buried the Laquan McDonald story. He has no chance of running again. So
I don't think he can. We didn't say that he would win. We just said he would run.
yeah,
I think that
he won't even.
I think he's got the audacity to run.
I don't think so.
He can go back to D.C. and find a job out there, be a rep, be a lobbyist or something, and leave the people of Chicago to burn.
All right. So that's all for today. The HiFi Clinic's inspired by the magic of the McLaughlin Group and recorded before a live studio audience here at the HiFi Clinic. Engage with us on Twitter and Instagram at HiFi Critics and on YouTube at youtube.com/HiFi Critics. We'll see you next time. All rights reserved.